Hi there, welcome once more to Detailed English. As we talked last time, in the second part of the Callan method, we're going to show the Callan method in practice. First of all, how many methods are there in the Callan method? There are a total of 12 methods in the Callan method, as you can see here in my folder. So we have method 1, right up to method 12. Method 1 is the very basic level of English, and method 12 is the advanced level of English. So supposing you start from method 1 to method 12, I bet you your English is going to be superb. We are going to start by looking at some of the specificities of the Callan method. But before we move to that, I want to state this. The Callan method also has audio files the students can listen. Supposing the student is studying the Callan method on their own, they don't have a teacher to maybe, guide them along the way. For example, you have, this audio files where you can listen while following the PDF files as we're going to see. Let's move to method 1. Method 1 starts from lesson 1. For every method, there are a couple of lessons. And within every lesson, we have a group of words and questions just below the words. So as I said, method 1 is a very basic level. Here we have, very basic questions and answers, basic words. So the student starting from lesson 1 is going to start from the foundation, building that foundation, making it strong, so that when they move further and move into complicated questions and complicated words and phrases, they're going to feel comfortable to answer the questions if asked. Now, in every lesson, we have this group of words. The student reads after the teacher. For example, we have pen, pencil, book. If the student makes a mistake, the teacher is going to correct them. And don't forget, there's no need to memorize the words. There's no need, because in the methods ahead, you're going to continue using these words in questions and answers. So it's a repetitive method where you keep seeing the words over and over. And the more you use them in sentences, the more it sticks into your brain. You just need to know the meaning of the words and their pronunciation. Let's move forward. Now let's move to method 6, which is the intermediate level. As you can see, the questions are more complicated, longer when you move forward. Now, for example, the word situation is given. So the student first reads the word, the teacher gives the pronunciation of the word, and then the teacher asks questions regarding this word. For example, what would you do if you saw someone taking something from a shop without paying? The teacher asks. The student now replies. You see, just a hint is given here for the student to use this hint to reply to the question. So the student perhaps may say, if I saw someone taking something from a shop without paying, I'd report them to the police, for example. The teacher then continues to the next question. What do people normally do in situations like that? Then the student now tries to answer. People normally call the police in situations like that, for example. So it's very good. You see, now we now see where we can use situation in a question and an answer after looking at the meaning and the pronunciation of the word. Very important. In some cases, you have, explanations of some words. For example, here we have suppose and thirst. Here we have an explanation in bold. The word supposing can be used in a similar way to if when we want someone to imagine a particular situation. Again, situation, right? We are using it over and over, so no need to memorize. Therefore, we often use it in conditional sentences and say, for example, supposing you had no money, what would you do? So you see, and after you just start using that word in question and answers. And that's how it sticks in your brain. Practice, practice, practice. Of course, in the Callan method, you don't just have vocabulary, you also have grammar, right? But it's very interesting in the Callan method that the way grammar is presented here, it's not like the classic way of having a whole textbook of grammar. No, here, it's very brief. So we give the grammar and the sentence structure of the grammar, then we just give an example, the conjugation of the grammar. That's all. Then we explain what the grammar is all about or when we use it. And that's all. Then we dive into the question and answers. So it's all about just getting a clue of the grammar, understanding the sentence structure, will plus infinitive without to, that's for the future tense. Then you immediately dive into the question. No need to wait, I don't know, listening to the teacher explaining some kind of complicated things about grammar. So you just go, will I be here next week? Then the student answers, yes, you'll be here next week. In the Callan method, you also have explanations of some, confusing words or phrases or verbs. So in this situation, we have look at and watch. Many people use these words as though they were the same thing. No, they aren't the same thing. So The Callan method gives such explanations, differentiating such phrases or words or whatsoever. So for example, look at and watch. The difference between to look at and to watch is that we use to look at for something that is still, whereas we use to watch for something that is moving. Very clear. So after understanding the difference between the two words, you dive directly into the question and answer session. In the Callan method, also, we have what we call dictation. Now, for those who don't know about dictation is when the teacher reads a piece of text, sentence by sentence, then the student listens without seeing the text and writes. So we are looking at dictation 61 here. The teacher is going to read each sentence at least twice. The student listens and writes. For example, as he has won several thousand pounds, the teacher ends, waits for the student to write, and then the teacher repeats, as he has won several thousand pounds, the student listens and writes. Then the teacher moves forward until the last sentence. This one helps to improve the students' listening skills. In the Callan method, at the end of each method, you have words and the translations to various languages. So here I'm going to focus only on the Turkish language because that's the only language I know after English and maybe some French. So for example, in lesson 112, we have these words and we have their Turkish counterparts here. So we have joke, shaka, shaka yapmak, pretend, gibi davranmak, right? It moves like that. So let's say you go to lesson 112 and you are studying there as a student and you arrive somewhere you don't understand a word. For example, take a chance. Let's take this one. Take a chance. You don't understand this word. You quickly come to the end of the method. You quickly look at it. So pretty much that's how we use the Callan method. I cannot show you everything here. Only those who know about the method know how good it is, how efficient it is when it comes to learning English practically. Very important. Thank you very much. I'll see you again in the next video. Please leave your comments below and I will reply. Maybe your questions, you can write them below. Anything you want me to talk about in English, please don't hesitate to write down there. Thank you very much again. Bye-bye.